Hello guys and welcome back to another episode on Movies with James. Today we're starting a new series and this is called Revisited. I'm going to revisit old films that I may haven't have seen in a long time and revisit them, and today we're going to be looking at Suicide Squad. Yes, so this series is going to be like a review, looking at older films and thinking were they really that great, were they not that great? And we're going to revisit them and we're going to take a look at them. I thought I'll start with Suicide Squad. The newest trailer for the new rebooted version of Suicide Squad has dropped, obviously, like the last 2-3 weeks. So I decided to watch the original movie that was released way back in 2016. Right off the bat though, the thing that reminded me about this movie was the soundtrack. I actually have the album downloaded on my phone. As soon as the movie finished, I basically went back on Apple Music and downloaded the soundtrack. This is the best thing about this movie, which obviously isn't really a good thing, but it also isn't a bad thing. The fact that the best thing about the movie is a soundtrack. I also have a steelbook edition of this movie, so I will just show you guys the back of that. You can see there's the front cover. You've got Will Smith's character Deadshot on there, Margot Robbie as well, obviously as Harley Quinn, and then we've got Jared Leto's Joker there in the background, and on the back then you've got the rest of the characters in the movie. For me, this is pretty bad steelbook in terms of the design. I got this because, well, I've got all the rest. You'll see that in another video, but it's just pretty bad. I think it looks quite cheesy. You know, there's nothing special about it. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, the movie itself, like I said, the soundtrack is insane. And I remember listening to the soundtrack like straight after when I went to the movie theatre to watch it. And I'm going to be doing the same. Obviously, I'm working tomorrow. I'm going to put my headphones on and I'm probably going to listen to the entire soundtrack because it's really good. But the movie itself, like, is it good? You know, what about it? I think for me, like, revisiting the movie is the fact that the plot itself is really bad. Like, the actual plot, there's no actual end goal, you know. Like, the end goal, obviously, within most superhero movies or whatever, or comic book movies, is very much like we're going to save the world and, you know, it is what it is. In this case though, you've got ex-criminals, like bad guys, really bad comic book baddies, and they're in prison, and it's like, okay, you're gonna go on this like suicide mission, you're gonna help the government out because we need you. The fact that this happens in the same universe as, like, you know, Batman and Superman and all like the current DC superheroes, my thing is, like, if something like this happened, surely this is like a plot for like a Batman movie to go and kill the bad guys. You know, it is what it is though. I don't really know much about the comics. I just take it for what it is with the movie. And as I said there, Batman, Ben Affleck, really into the Batman movies and the DC movies since the beginning of lockdown, really. I've really been getting into DC movies, most notably Wonder Woman. Really enjoy those films. And that was one of the shocks to me actually watching this movie, was the fact that Ben Affleck is actually in this movie as Batman, and also Flash. The Flash is in there as well. And it was really nice to see those characters in the movie. I'm really a big fan of the Zack Snyder's Justice League. I even like the other Justice League, the Joss Whedon version, but not as much as the Zack Snyder version. But for me, it was nice to revisit and remember, actually, yeah, Ben Affleck was in this movie, and then there was a post-credit scene that Ben Affleck is in with Viola Davis's character, and I think it just worked. It worked quite well having Ben Affleck in the movie. I did wait till the end of this film as well, and this was actually produced by Zack Snyder. Obviously he's restoring the Snyderverse. I never realized he actually worked on this movie. I know he's producing the James Gunn version coming out, I think it's like a few months time, 3 or 4 months time. So that was nice to see. There's 2 more characters though. Jared Leto, you know, him as Joker. I really didn't like him in this movie as Joker. He was much better towards the end of the Snyder Cut, obviously. That was the Joker we wanted to see in this movie, and we never got to saw that. So I think, you know, it would have been nice, obviously, for that type of Joker to exist, but, you know, it didn't materialize in this film, and that was really a bad point. He was a weird Joker. It was a very strange Joker, and I didn't like it at all. Margot Robbie, I'm not going to touch on there. She was the standout performer in this film, and obviously that's what propelled her, this Harley Quinn character that everybody loved from this film. That was probably the only success that this film had at the time when it was launched. But one character that did surprise me, and that was the character of Joel Kinnaman. Joel Kinnaman played Rick Flag. I actually thought he did a really good job, and it kind of makes sense because he is in the new Suicide Squad movie as Rick Flag, the same as Viola Davis is reprising her role. So it kind of makes sense, and I was just so shocked at how good he was in the film. I've seen him in For All Mankind, and I've also seen him in Altered Carbon. Those are 2 series, one on TV Plus, on Apple TV Plus, and the other one on Netflix. And he's a really good actor. So yeah, that was a nice surprise watching that movie. I actually forgot that he was in it, and it kind of leaves me some hope, the fact that Viola Davis and obviously Joel Kinnaman are back in the new Suicide Squad movie, which is getting done obviously by James Gunn. Yeah, it's a nice transition there. But either way, I'm going to rate this movie. I rate my movies out of 1 to 10. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. I thought it was quite good in some aspects. I think Will Smith's character of Deadshot actually did surprise me. I thought he was better than I actually remember him. But the plot to the movie is really bad. You know, there's this ancient like witch, and then she's like, it's her brother, and it's very like Mummy meets like sci-fi, and for me it didn't really work. It didn't really make sense. You know, the plot was just spiraling out of control, and there was no like synergy in terms of where it was going. The only things that kept me hooked throughout the movie itself was the comedic aspect. I think some of the jokes were quite funny, and some of them didn't remember, and it was nice. And also Harley Quinn, and even Will Smith as well. I quite enjoyed his role, as well as obviously Viola Davis and Joel Kinnaman's role. So certain people had like good characters, and it kind of makes sense why some of those characters are reprising their roles in the new Suicide Squad movie. But the rest was bad, and yeah, revisiting the movie, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It is what it is. So there it is. There's my first episode of Revisited. I'm going to be revisiting more movies, any old ones. If you want to see a movie for me to revisit, let me know down below. Obviously, I've got to have seen the movie before. I've obviously seen this before, but I'm just revisiting it. Yeah, so this is a new series. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe down below for all the new videos that I'm going to be producing on videos and movies and everything all to do with that. So yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.